In any relationship, love is just the beginning. What sustains it over time is understanding, effort, and emotional intelligence. While passion and attraction might bring two people together, it's the small, intentional actions and psychological awareness that keep them connected through life's inevitable highs and lows. Relationships are not static. They evolve, shift, and are constantly tested by time, pressure, and personal growth. That's why cultivating a deeper understanding of how love works on a psychological level can be the difference between a connection that merely survives and one that truly thrives. Psychology offers valuable insights into how we bond, communicate, and emotionally support one another. From recognizing each other's love languages to setting healthy boundaries, every aspect of a strong relationship is built on mutual respect, vulnerability, and consistent care. Unfortunately, many couples falter not because they lack love, but because they don't understand how to nurture it properly. They may communicate often but not clearly, love deeply but not in the way their partner needs, or support each other in words but not in consistent action. The key lies in becoming more intentional. Whether it's listening with the purpose to understand, offering regular appreciation, or learning how to resolve conflict without ego, these seemingly simple practices have a profound impact when done mindfully. Psychological wisdom helps us break unhealthy patterns, manage emotional triggers, and cultivate habits that strengthen trust and closeness. A truly fulfilling relationship isn't about perfection. It's about growth, adaptation, and commitment. It's about choosing your partner again and again, not just when it's easy, but especially when it's hard. And that choice becomes more powerful when it's backed by knowledge of yourself, of your partner, and of what makes relationships last. The following 15 pieces of relationship advice, grounded in psychology, aren't just tips, they're tools. Tools for building a connection that is emotionally safe, deeply satisfying, and resilient in the face of time. Whether you're starting a new chapter or seeking to deepen a long-term bond, these insights are a reminder that love isn't just something you feel, it's something you actively choose to grow. 1. Communicate clearly, not just often. Communicating clearly in a relationship goes beyond simply talking a lot. It means expressing your thoughts, feelings, needs, and concerns in a way that your partner can genuinely understand. Many couples fall into the trap of frequent communication without clarity, where messages get misunderstood or misinterpreted, leading to confusion, frustration, or even unnecessary arguments. Clear communication involves being honest, direct, and respectful. Instead of hinting or expecting your partner to read your mind, it's more effective to say what you mean with kindness. For example, saying "I feel hurt when you cancel our plans" is clearer than "you never care about me." The first one opens a door for discussion and understanding, while the second can lead to defensiveness or distance. Active listening is also a part of clear communication. It's not just about what you say, but how well you listen and make your partner feel heard. When both people feel understood, even during difficult conversations, it strengthens emotional intimacy. Tone and body language matter too. Saying the right words in the wrong tone can lead to miscommunication. Pay attention to how you're delivering your message. Are you calm or frustrated, patient or rushed? These cues influence how your partner interprets what you say. Ultimately, clear communication builds trust. It creates a safe space where both partners can be open without fear of judgment. It's not about being perfect in every conversation, but about being intentional, honest, and compassionate. When two people commit to clarity, even disagreements become opportunities to grow closer rather than pull apart. 2. Listen to understand, not to reply. Listening to understand means truly focusing on what your partner is saying rather than preparing your response while they are still speaking. It's one of the most important skills in any healthy relationship, yet it's often overlooked. Many people listen just enough to catch a few words and then jump in with a reply, defense, or solution. But real connection happens when you slow down and give your full attention. When you listen to understand, you're not interrupting, judging, or assuming. You're curious about what your partner feels and why they feel that way. You listen not just to their words, but also to the emotions behind them. This kind of listening makes your partner feel safe, seen, and respected. It's especially crucial during conflict. If both people are only listening to argue back or prove their point, the conversation turns into a debate instead of a discussion. But if one person pauses and truly listens, the energy shifts. Understanding doesn't always mean agreeing, but it means saying, "I hear you. I see where you're coming from." When you show this level of empathy, it builds trust and emotional intimacy. Your partner starts to believe that they can talk to you about anything without fear of being dismissed or misunderstood. Sometimes, the most healing thing you can say is simply, "I understand." It's not about fixing the problem right away or offering advice unless asked. It's about being present. When you listen to understand, not to reply, your relationship transforms from surface-level communication to deep emotional connection. 3. Express appreciation regularly. It strengthens bonds. Expressing appreciation regularly is one of the most powerful yet simple ways to strengthen a relationship. Over time, couples can fall into routines and start taking each other for granted. The small efforts, gestures, or qualities that once stood out begin to fade into the background. That's why regular appreciation matters. It keeps love visible and felt. When you express appreciation, you're saying, "I see you. I value what you do. I don't take you for granted." It can be as simple as thanking your partner for making coffee, noticing how they handled a tough day, or complimenting their character. These acknowledgments create warmth and emotional security. They make your partner feel recognized and validated. Appreciation doesn't have to be dramatic. A quick thank you, a sincere compliment, or even a loving glance can make a big difference. The key is sincerity. Forced or routine compliments can lose meaning. But when it comes from the heart, even the smallest expression can have a big impact. Psychologically, appreciation fosters positive reinforcement. When people feel appreciated, they're more likely to continue those behaviors and stay emotionally invested. It also reduces resentment. In many relationships, partners begin to feel unacknowledged over time, which can lead to emotional distance or frustration. Regular appreciation prevents that buildup. It also works both ways. When you practice gratitude, you start noticing the good more often, which improves your own mindset and emotional well-being. It shifts the focus from what's lacking to what's working. In strong relationships, love isn't just felt, it's spoken. And one of the most beautiful ways to speak it is through appreciation. It tells your partner over and over again that they matter to you, and that makes all the difference. 4. Address issues early before resentment builds. Addressing issues early is essential in maintaining a healthy, lasting relationship. Problems don't usually destroy a relationship overnight. It's the slow buildup of unspoken frustrations, ignored emotions, and repeated disappointments that lead to resentment. When concerns are brushed aside or left unresolved, they don't go away. They grow quietly in the background until they explode in unhealthy ways. Many people avoid difficult conversations because they fear conflict, rejection, or hurting their partner's feelings. But avoidance often causes more harm than the problem itself. By delaying important discussions, you give those small issues room to become major emotional roadblocks. A minor annoyance today can turn into deep resentment 6 months later if it's never addressed. Talking about problems early shows emotional maturity. It signals that you care enough about the relationship to protect it from silent damage. When done with kindness and calmness, these conversations don't have to be confrontational. They can be moments of clarity, learning, and growth. Early communication also builds trust. It tells your partner, "I value honesty, and I'm willing to work through challenges with you." It makes both people feel like they're on the same team, not hiding from problems, but facing them together. Of course, timing and delivery matter. Bringing up issues during heated moments or using blame-based language can backfire. But if you approach it with care, saying something like, "Can we talk about something that's been on my mind?" it opens a path for mutual understanding. In strong relationships, people don't wait for problems to become unbearable. They face them when they're still small, manageable, and repairable. Because love isn't just about how you feel. It's about what you do to protect it, even in difficult moments. 5. Respect each other's individuality and space. Respecting each other's individuality and space is a cornerstone of a healthy, lasting relationship. Love doesn't mean losing your identity or merging completely with your partner. It means honoring the fact that two whole, separate people have chosen to walk through life together. When individuality is respected, both partners feel free to grow, express themselves, and maintain their sense of self within the relationship. Every person has unique interests, passions, routines, and boundaries. Ignoring or trying to control those differences often leads to feelings of suffocation or resentment. On the other hand, encouraging your partner's personal growth, even when it means spending time apart, shows trust and emotional maturity. Giving space doesn't mean emotional distance. It means understanding that everyone needs time for themselves, to recharge, reflect, pursue hobbies, or spend time with friends. This independence actually strengthens the relationship because both partners come back to each other with more to share, more to give, and more clarity about who they are. Jealousy, insecurity, or codependency often show up when space is mistaken for disinterest. But in reality, couples who allow each other room to breathe tend to be more balanced, less controlling, and more deeply connected. They understand that love doesn't demand constant presence. It thrives on freedom and choice. Respecting individuality also means appreciating your partner's unique personality. You don't have to agree on everything or be alike in every way. In fact, it's those differences that often bring depth and richness to the relationship. In a strong relationship, you're not just partners. You're two individuals who choose each other every day without losing yourselves in the process. Space, respect, and individuality aren't threats to love. They're the soil where it grows strongest. 6. Learn each other's love language. Learning each other's love language is a game changer in any relationship. It's not just about how you give love, but how your partner receives it. Everyone feels loved in different ways, and when you understand what makes your partner feel valued, your connection deepens naturally. There are 5 commonly known love languages: words of affirmation, quality time, acts of service, physical touch, and receiving gifts. While someone might feel deeply appreciated when they hear "I'm proud of you," another might feel more love through a simple hug, a thoughtful gesture, or spending uninterrupted time together. The problem many couples face is assuming that their partner feels love the same way they do. For example, you might express love by doing things for your partner, like running errands or fixing something at home, but they might crave more verbal appreciation or physical closeness. Even though your actions are meaningful, they might not register in the way your partner needs. When you learn your partner's love language, you start showing love in the way that matters most to them. It becomes less about effort and more about alignment. And when both partners do this, it creates a cycle of emotional fulfillment where each person feels seen, heard, and cared for in a way that's deeply personal. It also helps prevent misunderstandings. When love isn't communicated in the right language, someone might feel neglected even when they're actually being loved, just not in the way they recognize. In the end, love languages are about empathy. It's choosing to love someone not just how you want, but how they need. And when that happens, even simple moments turn into lasting emotional connections. 7. Argue to solve, not to win. Arguing to solve rather than to win is a mindset that transforms how conflicts unfold in a relationship. Every couple argues. What matters is how they argue. When the goal is to win, prove a point, or be right, the conversation becomes a battle, not a bridge. But when the goal is resolution, understanding, and growth, even disagreements can bring people closer. Winning an argument might feel good in the moment, but it often comes at the cost of your partner feeling unheard, dismissed, or hurt. That creates emotional distance. On the other hand, approaching conflict with the intention to solve a problem means you value the relationship more than your ego. It means you're not fighting against your partner. You're fighting for the relationship. This mindset requires humility and empathy. It means being willing to listen, admit fault, and meet halfway. It involves asking, "What can we do to fix this?" instead of saying, "You always do this," or you never listen. It's about identifying the root of the problem, not just pointing fingers. Emotion regulation also plays a big role. When emotions run high, it's easy to lash out or escalate. But when you pause, take a breath, and remind yourself that you're on the same team, the tone shifts. You begin looking for solutions rather than weapons. Healthy arguing isn't about avoiding conflict, it's about transforming it. It shows maturity, respect, and emotional intelligence. And over time, it builds a deeper level of trust because both partners know that even in disagreement, they are still safe, valued, and working together. In love, the real win isn't proving you're right. It's solving the problem, healing the wound, and becoming stronger as a team. 8. Don't compare your relationship to others. Comparing your relationship to others is one of the fastest ways to create dissatisfaction and insecurity, both for yourself and your partner. In the age of social media, it's easy to fall into the trap of looking at other couples and thinking they're happier, more romantic, or more successful than you. But what you're seeing is just the highlight reel, not the whole story. Every relationship is different. People have unique personalities, histories, values, and ways of expressing love. What works for one couple may not work for another. When you compare your relationship to someone else's, you overlook the unique bond you and your partner share, and instead measure it against unrealistic or incomplete standards. Comparisons also breed resentment. You may start feeling like your partner isn't doing enough, or you may feel like you're not enough yourself. You begin to focus on what's lacking instead of what's working. That shift in perspective can slowly erode the appreciation and trust that hold your connection together. Instead of comparing, focus on nurturing your relationship based on your values, your rhythms, and your shared goals. Ask yourself, what makes us strong? What do we enjoy? What challenges have we overcome together? That internal focus is where true intimacy grows. It's also important to remember that even the happiest couples go through hard times. What looks perfect from the outside might be hiding struggles, compromises, and pain you'll never see. The healthiest relationships aren't always the most public. They're the ones built in private, with patience, honesty, and effort. In love, the only relationship that should guide you is the one you're in. When you stop measuring it against others, you start valuing it for what it truly is, and that's where real happiness begins. 9. Be emotionally available and vulnerable. Being emotionally available and vulnerable is the foundation of deep, meaningful connection in a relationship. It means letting your partner see the real you, not just your strengths and successes, but also your fears, insecurities, hopes, and wounds. Vulnerability is not weakness. In fact, it takes great strength and courage to open up emotionally, especially in a world that often encourages emotional self-protection. When you're emotionally available, you allow space for real intimacy. You show up with your full heart, ready to connect rather than hide behind walls. This openness invites your partner to do the same. It creates a bond built on trust, where both people feel safe being honest about what they are feeling, even when those feelings are messy or complicated. Many relationships struggle because one or both partners are emotionally distant. They avoid expressing their feelings, keep their guard up, or fear judgment or rejection. Over time, this distance can create confusion, loneliness, and frustration. Emotional availability, on the other hand, builds understanding and security. Your partner doesn't have to guess how you're feeling. They know, because you share it. Being vulnerable also means admitting when you're hurt, scared, or uncertain. It's saying, I don't have it all figured out, or I need your support right now. These moments of honesty deepen love, because they show your partner that you trust them with your heart. Of course, vulnerability should be met with care and respect. When both partners are emotionally available, they create a space where feelings are honored, not weaponized. That emotional safety allows love to thrive. Ultimately, real connection isn't built on perfection, it's built on openness. When you're emotionally present and willing to be seen as you are, you don't just love each other, you understand each other. And that's where true intimacy begins. 10. Support each other's personal growth. Supporting each other's personal growth is one of the most powerful ways to build a lasting and fulfilling relationship. Love is not just about being together. It's about helping each other become better, stronger, and more authentic versions of yourselves. When both partners encourage one another's growth, the relationship evolves alongside the individuals, rather than being held back by fear or insecurity. Personal growth can take many forms: pursuing a dream, learning a new skill, healing from past wounds, improving mental or physical health, or simply discovering new passions. It requires time, effort, and often change, and that change can be uncomfortable. But a healthy partner doesn't resist it. They embrace it, even if it means adjusting the dynamic of the relationship. Supporting growth means cheering for your partner's goals, even if they don't directly benefit you. It's listening when they talk about their ambitions, asking how you can help, and celebrating their wins. It also means having the courage to tell the truth gently when they are holding themselves back, and reminding them of their worth when they forget it. It goes both ways. When you feel supported in your journey, you're more likely to give that same encouragement in return. This mutual support builds trust, respect, and admiration. It creates a sense of partnership, where both people know they are not alone in their challenges or dreams. Jealousy, control, or fear of change can poison a relationship. But when you trust that growth doesn't pull you apart, it brings you closer. You create space for a deeper connection. You're no longer just loving who your partner is now, but also who they are becoming. In a truly healthy relationship, love is not static. It evolves, expands, and strengthens as each person grows. Supporting that growth isn't just kind. It's a form of love that says, I believe in who you are and who you're meant to be. 11. Set healthy boundaries without guilt. Setting healthy boundaries without guilt is essential for maintaining respect, emotional safety, and balance in a relationship. Boundaries are not about building walls or pushing your partner away. They are about protecting your peace, values, and well-being so that you can show up as your best self in the relationship. They define what is and isn't okay for you, and they help prevent resentment, burnout, and emotional confusion. Many people struggle with boundaries because they fear rejection, conflict, or being seen as selfish. But in reality, boundaries are a form of self-respect and relationship care. They communicate clearly, this is how I need to be treated in order to feel safe, respected, and valued. When both partners honor each other's boundaries, the relationship becomes stronger, not weaker. Examples of healthy boundaries include needing alone time, not tolerating disrespectful language, wanting privacy with your phone or social media, or asking for emotional space during a disagreement. These aren't demands. They are honest expressions of your personal limits. Feeling guilty for setting boundaries often stems from people-pleasing habits or past experiences where your needs were dismissed. But guilt doesn't mean you're doing something wrong. It often just means you're doing something new and necessary. True love honors honesty and mutual care, not self-sacrifice or silence. When you set boundaries calmly and respectfully, you're not creating distance. You're creating clarity. You're helping your partner understand how to love you in a way that feels right. And when your partner sets their own boundaries, it's a sign of emotional maturity, not rejection. In a healthy relationship, boundaries are not just accepted, they are appreciated. Because love doesn't mean losing yourself. It means being fully yourself and being loved for exactly that. 12. Focus on actions, not just words. Focusing on actions, not just words, is crucial in building trust and emotional security in a relationship. While kind words and promises can be comforting, it's consistent behavior that reveals true intentions. Anyone can say, I love you or I'll change. But if those words aren't followed by meaningful actions, they lose their value over time. Real love is shown, not just spoken. It's in the ways someone shows up for you when you're down, remembers the things that matter to you, respects your boundaries, supports your goals, and treats you with care even when it's inconvenient. These are the daily choices and gestures that speak louder than declarations ever could. Words can be impulsive or manipulative if not backed by behavior. For example, Someone might apologize repeatedly but continue the same hurtful patterns. Or they might make promises to improve the relationship, only to break them again and again. In these cases, paying attention to patterns, what someone actually does, gives you a clearer picture of their character and commitment. This principle also applies to yourself. Expressing love, gratitude, and respect should be supported by how you treat your partner day to day. Being reliable, keeping your word, and showing up consistently reinforces your sincerity far more than grand romantic gestures or poetic phrases. Trust is built through aligned words and actions over time. When your partner sees that your actions reflect your promises, they feel safe. And when you observe the same in them, that safety becomes mutual. It's not about being perfect. It's about being real, intentional, and dependable. In the end, words create expectations, but actions create reality. And in love, it's the reality you live every day, not just the things you hear, that defines the strength of the relationship. 13. Keep physical affection alive. It boosts oxytocin. Keeping physical affection alive in a relationship is about more than romance or attraction. It's about maintaining emotional closeness, comfort, and connection. Human touch releases oxytocin, often called the love hormone or bonding hormone, which helps build trust, reduce stress, and deepen intimacy between partners. Physical affection doesn't have to be grand or intense. It can be as simple as holding hands, hugging, sitting close on the couch, giving a forehead kiss, or resting a hand on your partner's back. These small, consistent touches have a powerful impact on how secure and loved both people feel in the relationship. Over time, they become a silent language of connection that words can't always replace. In long-term relationships, physical affection can easily fade into the background as routines, stress, or life responsibilities take over. But neglecting touch can create emotional distance, even if the love is still there. That's why it's important to be intentional about keeping it alive. Not just during moments of passion, but in everyday interactions. When you say goodbye in the morning, when you reunite at night, or when one of you is having a hard day. Oxytocin released through touch not only strengthens the bond, but also promotes a sense of calm and well-being. It lowers cortisol, the stress hormone, and helps regulate heart rate and anxiety. In essence, a warm touch can say, "I'm here, I care, and you're safe with me," without a single word. Physical affection is one of the simplest yet most profound ways to nourish love daily. It reminds your partner that love is not just something you say, it's something you express with your body, your presence, and your warmth. And when maintained with intention, it keeps the relationship tender, alive, and deeply connected. 14. Revisit and realign shared goals often. Revisiting and realigning shared goals often is a vital practice for keeping a relationship strong, intentional, and future-focused. In any partnership, both individuals grow, change, and evolve over time, and so do their dreams, priorities, and needs. What brought you together years ago might not be enough to keep you connected if you're no longer moving in the same direction. Shared goals act like a compass in a relationship. They give purpose, unity, and a sense of being on the same team. These goals can range from big life decisions, like marriage, children, careers, or where to live, to smaller but meaningful things, like health habits, travel plans, or saving for a project together. When both partners are aligned, it creates clarity and reduces conflict. However, life brings unexpected changes. One partner may develop new ambitions, shift values, or face challenges that require adjusting the original path. That's why it's so important to check in regularly, not just during major transitions, but even in the quiet moments. Asking each other, "Are we still working toward the same things? Or has anything changed for you lately?" keeps communication open and forward-thinking. When you realign goals together, it shows emotional maturity and mutual respect. It prevents one person from silently drifting away while the other clings to an outdated vision. It also strengthens intimacy because you're constantly choosing to grow together rather than growing apart. Regular alignment creates momentum and hope. It reminds both partners that they're not just maintaining a relationship. They're actively building a life, side by side. And when that shared vision is revisited with honesty, flexibility, and love, it becomes one of the strongest bonds a couple can have. 15. Never stop dating each other, even after years. Never stopping the act of dating each other, even after years together, is one of the best ways to keep love alive, fresh, and deeply connected. When a relationship is new, most couples naturally prioritize romance. They dress up, plan surprises, go on dates, and give each other their full attention. But as time passes and life becomes busier with work, family, and responsibilities, those efforts often fade into routine. The danger of letting romance slip away is that partners may begin to feel emotionally distant, even if they are still physically present. Complacency can quietly erode intimacy, turning a once vibrant connection into a partnership of logistics instead of love. But couples who choose to continue dating each other, long after the honeymoon phase, send a powerful message. You still matter. We're still worth the effort. Dating doesn't have to mean expensive dinners or elaborate plans. It can be a walk under the stars, a late-night conversation over tea, a handwritten note left in a pocket, or a spontaneous dance in the kitchen. What matters most is intentionality. It's about carving out moments that are just for the two of you, free from distractions and filled with presence. Continuing to date your partner also keeps curiosity and playfulness alive. You get to rediscover each other again and again. As you grow, as you change, as you evolve. It allows for laughter, surprises, and emotional closeness to remain at the heart of the relationship. Relationships require nurturing. Just as a garden needs sunlight and water to thrive, love needs time, attention, and romance. When you keep dating your partner through the seasons of life, you're not just preserving what you had. You're building something deeper, richer, and more enduring than the first spark could ever offer.